what I'm going to go over today are the things that I am seeing today with the clients I work with. I work with companies of all shapes and sizes. Some have hundreds of employees and some have no employees. Excuse me. And these are the things that are working and the things that we're working on. And if you have questions about anything, don't wait till the end. Ask away. Also, if you have a cell phone or a smartphone with you, this is my Twitter handle. I'd love to connect with you on Twitter. I try and say things once in a while in tweetable bites, so you can tweet it out. I'm shamelessly plugging myself, yes, absolutely. Please tweet away. And also, ask questions on Twitter if you want as well, and we can talk about those later even if we don't have time today. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Why most marketing initiatives fail, what today's consumer looks like or today's customer, and I have 4 steps for better marketing today. Okay, and again, these are the things that I'm applying with my clients, so these are real life things we're going to talk about. So why most initiatives fail is I've really found 4 main reasons. The first is we don't give our plans enough time to work. If something doesn't work immediately, we panic and then start changing it. And that's a horrible thing to do to your marketing, especially as a small business owner, because you don't have Apple's ad budget, right? If any of you do, we should talk after, but if you don't, you have very limited dollars, and you need to keep those dollars as efficient and as effective as possible. So when you decide on the strategy and the messaging that you're going to deliver to your marketplace, you have to give it time to work. That could be months before you're going to see significant changes or improvements in what you're doing. Okay? The plan is too vague or it's unrealistic. Now, vague, I've seen plans where we want to increase sales. That's their goal. Okay, everybody wants to increase sales, but by how much? When? To whom? Selling what? Be very specific. Has anyone here ever heard of SMART goals? What does SMART goals stand for?
Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Perfect.
Wow, that was good. Because as I said it, I thought, I hope I can remember all 5 of them. That's exactly it. Are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they actually realistic that you think you can do this? Now, it doesn't mean setting goals so low that you can achieve them in a day. Your goal should make you a little sick to your stomach, but not so much that you pass out on the floor. Does that make sense? Right? You should be nervous about them, like, these are tough. But they're within reach. Those are called stretch goals. So I've seen too many plans that are either so vague or they're just reaching for the moon when you don't even really have a business established. Your story is uninspiring. The thing that small business owners always underestimate, and I see this so much, is how wonderful and interesting your stories are. And you don't tell them. You talk about your business. We offer the greatest selection and the widest variety. Who cares? You sound like everybody else. Tell your story about why you're interesting. Why did you get started in the business? What are you trying to do for the people you work with? That's interesting. Tell the personal side of it. Talk about you, the person. That draws me in and want to know more about what you do. Then I'll want to know the details. Okay, how many trucks do you have in your fleet, and what are your hours and all that stuff. But first you have to get me interested. And last is the plan is either disjointed, so it's all over the place, and we're like, okay, what are we doing? Or it's simply reactive. I remember I asked a small business owner about a month ago, I said, what's your budget? She goes, whatever I have left over at the end of the month after I pay my bills. It's okay. That's not really a scientific way of budgeting, but I get it. So if you're just reacting all the time, oh, no, our competitors just ran an ad, I better run an ad. This just happened, oh, I better do this. If you're always reacting, you're never in control of your business. You now have someone else in control of your business. I want you to think about that for a minute. Someone else is running your business for you. I don't know if they're doing it in your best interest. Instead, your plan needs to be integrated across every touch point you have with your customer. From your storefront and your signage to your website and your staff. Everything needs to say the same thing. And we'll get into that in more detail later. But these are why I see marketing initiatives fail. And I see this every day. So let's talk about your customers for a minute. And this includes every one of us in this room. I love this picture. I found this last night. iArm. Technology is running our life. Horst is looking at that saying, I got to get one, right? Now, this is obviously a fake product because you're not really going to put your plate of food on your arm. But it just was a sarcastic way of showing, satirical way of showing we're just slaves to technology now. How many of you have a smartphone? How many of you, and I want you to be honest, when that little red light flashes or it makes a noise, your head just snaps? Yes. I see the faces going, I don't want to put my hand up because I'm embarrassed. I do it. It's like Christmas morning every time that thing dings, right? Oh, look, someone likes me. They sent me an email. We're slaves to technology. What was technology supposed to do?
Help us.
Did it?
No. By the way, that first one does exist now.
The iArm does
Yeah,
exist?
It actually comes up on your arm and you can do all the gadgets.
That even makes me more sad. So, but I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke.
It actually does exist.
Okay, so there we go. This guy's on the phone looking at his iPad with a coffee. Pretty sad, right? But technology is overwhelming people today. So a lot of small business owners think, well, I better get technology in my business. I better add technology. I better get e-commerce. I better get apps. I better do, et cetera, et cetera. That's not always the answer. Cluttering up someone's mind is not always the best way to reach them. Choice. This is just mustard. We have never had access to more things in our life than we have today. More choice. What happens to somebody when there's too many choices?
They get bogged down.
They shut down too, right?
Overwhelmed.
Right, overwhelmed. Don't make choices. Absolutely. You just say, you know what? I'll go with ketchup. Right? Sometimes the best decision is no decision for someone. So when you're looking at your business, are you trying to create more and more and more products and services to offer? More packages, more bundled offers? Maybe you're starting to confuse people. You can't be great at 100 things. Even though you're going to try, you can't be. So here's a question for you. What are you known for? What is that thing that you are known for? Write it down. Grab your notebook or whatever it is. Write down, what is that thing you're known for? Is it what you want to be known for? Is the scarier question. I'm known for having the widest selection of products. Great. Is that what you want to be known for? No, because everybody comes in here and wants to compete on price with me. They just want the lowest price. They're always going, what is your lowest one? What is your lowest one? So choice, never had more. And actually with technology, our first point, with the click of a mouse, you can see anything you want instantly, right? Every one of us in this room and every one of your customers is exposed to 3,000 promotional messages a day. Ridiculous number, eh? Bombarding you. Buy me. Choose this. Look at this. Look over here. I want your attention. Vying for our attention. 3,000. 99.9 of them we block out. 99.9% of those messages we block out. How many of you drove here today? How many of you passed billboards? Please tell me the billboards you saw.
Tim Hortons. No idea.
Tim Hortons. No idea. How dare you? You know how much money they spent to get your attention? Right?
I felt overwhelmed, so I stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. How many of you listened to the radio on the way here? Do you remember any radio ads? Again, how dare you, right? These people are paying good money to interrupt you. So we're bombarded with messages and we block things out. Has anyone here bought a car in the last 3-6 months? What'd you buy?
Mercedes.
Okay. How long ago did you buy it?
2 months ago.
Okay. Did you own one before, or this is the first time you got a Mercedes?
First time.
Are you seeing a lot more Mercedes on the road now?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I drive one.
Because it's relevant to you, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the things you let into your life are relevant, and you block out everything else. So there's a piece of your brain called the reticular activating system. Don't worry, I'm not going to give a long biology lesson. But it's an actual piece of your brain called the reticular activating system, and it's like a ninja. It sits there, it's got the bandana on and everything. And as irrelevant information comes in, it goes, wah, and it blocks it away. It just swats it away. Same thing's happening to your customers and the people you're trying to reach with your messages. Are they relevant? So when you started looking for a Mercedes, all of a sudden you noticed the dealerships and the advertising, like, wow, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 or 5 months before that, whew, you didn't see it, right? So look at what you sell. How can you be relevant to the people you're trying to reach? Because you're competing with a lot of noise. Time. Everybody in this room, I know you have more time on your hands than you know what to do with, right? Of course not. We're stretched thin. 14-hour days, 16-hour days, those are becoming the norm. Working at home. How many of you take work home? How many of you work on the weekend from time to time? Right? It's eating into everything we do. So your customer, if you can save them time, if you can make it easy, that's a big feature, a big way to get their attention. Can you make things easy? So all these things are against us. The technology, the noise in the marketplace, the overabundance of choice and no time. And on top of that, most of us small business owners don't put together very good plans, so we're sort of fighting ourselves. So I have a few ideas of what we can do, because this is usually what my customers, my clients look like. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? How much do I spend? When? Where? Please help me. For the love of God, please help me. Sorry if that's a religious thing, I didn't want to offend anybody, but I do hear that a lot. Help me. So these are 4 things we're going to talk about today. What's your brand look like? How well do you know your customers? What's your message? And then something called DRIP. Okay? So brand. First thing you need to know about your brand is it's not your logo. Logos are great. I just got a new logo for my new company. I'm very proud of it. But it's not your brand. Your logo is a piece of your brand. Your brand is actually multiple things. Your brand is every touch point you have with your customer. And the culmination of my experiences with those touch points create my impression of your brand. Do any of you in this room have staff? Are they delivering the same experience you are? That's a scary question. Are your products delivering the message you want? Are your services matching those products? Are your facilities? You guys ever been to a website that looks beautiful and you show up at the actual location, you're like, what happened here? Did a bomb go off? You ever had that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What does that do to your brand impression, right? Now, because you're a consumer and you have more choice than ever today, you're not going to stand for subpar, are you? You're going to move on. So you have to look, these are just a few aspects. You need to look at your own business and say, what are all the ways we touch our customers? What are people saying about you? Don't even have word of mouth on here. So that's what your brand is. So the first step is, what do you want to be known for? Is it something you can be known for? Can you actually deliver on that brand promise? Many of us have these lofty brand promises that we can't actually deliver. So you have to be real. On top of that, is this something my customers are actually interested in and find important? That's how you're developing what you want your brand to be. Then you look at, what are all the ways we deliver this, and how are we consistent at every step of the way? Nothing is more important than protecting your brand. Everything you do. Now, I have a client who's in the tourism business, and they've always worked with an ad agency to produce their creative work. And this year they decided to go in-house with it. Okay, that's not my decision. Doesn't involve me. And we sat down to do a review of their marketing last week, and they asked me to sit in on it because they said, we're not really happy with it. And this is a facility that does millions of dollars a year and gets 100,000 people through their gates. And they showed me their advertising, and their e-blasts and whatnot, and all of it had clip art in it, like from the 80s, like when you use Corel Draw.
Yeah.
So I thought Jim was behind like a two-way mirror punking me. I thought this was a joke. Hey, look, Larry's going to get all worked up and going to make fun of me. This was real. This stuff went out. So I stood up and I said, you've destroyed your brand. Like, you've made yourself a joke. Well, we weren't sure it was that acceptable. Guys, no one's going to protect your brand but you. They hired people and went, well, go do what you can do, and they turned around like this to wait to see what they had. Then when the season was over, they reviewed it. You can't do that. Everything that goes out has to look right, sound right, has to be right. Your brand is incredibly important. Any questions about that? Your customers. Learn about your customers. This is the steps every one of us goes through whenever we buy something. I won't spend a lot of time on it, I'll walk through quickly. Awareness. Are you even aware you have a problem? We as human beings will not change what we have until it no longer works for us. Right? There's some ladies in the room, you might say to your husband, how long are you going to wear that ripped t-shirt? Until I can't put it on anymore. Right? That's what us guys will say. How long are you going to drive that crappy car? Until the wheels fall off. We're going to stick with things until they no longer work for us. So if you're trying to get business from someone who's never done business with you before, that means they're with somebody else. Would you agree? So how are you going to convince them to leave and come to you? You're going to point out that there may be a problem. But I have to even be aware that I have a problem. Next is interest. Am I actually interested in doing something about that problem? Many of us live with things all the time, right? I'll just live with it, whatever. Once it becomes annoying, you start to look into it. Now, the interest level does not mean the buying stage. It means I may be interested. This is when you start being aware of your messaging and allowing it through that ninja. He'll let a few things slide by. Evaluation is where someone is actively looking to make a change in what they're doing. And that's when they're now soliciting information and Googling and looking for things and talking to people and getting quotes and doing all that kind of stuff. Keep in mind, though, the decision could still be to live with what they got. Analysis is where they start to eliminate choice and narrow their decision. And then, of course, we all know what commitment is. I'm ready to do something. And at that point, it could still be, I'm not going to do anything. So this is what we go through. If we're going to go to Tim Hortons to buy a coffee, we go through this. Hey, I'm thirsty, I need a tea. I'm going to stop into this one because it's right close to me. Yeah, I'll probably have a muffin too. No, I'll cancel that muffin. Okay, here you go. Right? Takes a minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Or months if you're buying a car. One friend of mine took a year to buy a car. He's kind of weird though. But we all go through this. So at each stage, your customers have different questions and different things they need to know. So are you putting information out that talks to people at different stages? At the awareness stage, you're saying, hey, this might be a problem. And someone goes, that is a problem. Then this is, hey, did you know you could solve that problem? Hey, someone's got an answer. Here's what we've done for other people. Here's how much it costs and where you get it and how we deliver it. Here's where you sign and how much you're going to pay me. Right? I'm oversimplifying this, but people have different questions at different stages. You should walk through what it's like to buy your product. Have any of you ever done that? Put yourself in your customer's shoes, what it's like to be the... If any of you have a retail location, please mystery shop yourself. Hire someone to mystery shop you. It's a wonderful experience. But walk through this and make sure you understand what are the questions my customers have and when do they have it so that I'm intuitive enough to know. We're working on a website right now for a client. I don't build the website. We hire guys with, pencil protectors and stuff to do that. I'm teasing. They look really sharp, but we hire other guys to build it. But what we're doing is we're going through the strategy of what are the things our customers want to do on our website, what are the questions they have and when, and what are the things we want them to do. We're making a giant map out of this so we know what kind of content to create to drive people where we want them to go. Any of you on Facebook? You ever notice you go on Facebook and you're looking at something, and on the right-hand side, all of a sudden there's an ad for the website you were just on? How do they know I was looking at shoes? This is weird. Well, Facebook tracks what sites you go to from Facebook and what sites you came from Facebook. Creeped out? Should be. Weird, eh? But they want to make things relevant for you. Hey, you're looking at sneakers, I'm going to put an ad for sneakers. Because they think it's relevant to you. So they're trying to find out where you are in the buying process and put information there. Now, I'm not telling you to do that, to scare your customers, but you should still understand how they buy. And too many of us don't. We're focused on us, what our message is. We need to know what information they need to know. So your job is to record what they tell you, learn from it, and build relationships based on it. Now, record does not necessarily mean digitally record, but pay attention to those things they're telling you. What's important to them? What time of day do they like to call you? What kind of questions do they have? Do you keep hearing questions over and over? That's a good idea to make content out of that. Start a blog, start answering those questions, right? Learn from what they're telling you. Some places you walk into and it's so easy to buy from them because they think like the customer, not like the business. And then build relationships. Keep in contact with them. Give them value. And value isn't, hey, we have a special on today. That's not value. Good content is not your brochure, okay? Good content is, here's something helpful with no expectation of return back. I'm just being helpful. I'm becoming a resource here. People are attracted to that. Your message. Wow. This is a part of the marketing mix that I see butchered more than anything else, is the message part. Because it's not about you, and we think it is. We think it's about us. You have to tell a story in your messaging. You have to put your customer in the story. They have to be the hero, not you. You have to show how you help them, how easy it is, the pain you solve, the way you do it. You have to share that story. The other thing is, give away your knowledge and experience to a point. Show people you know what you're talking about. I blog a lot, I create reports a lot, I create videos a lot, I give away a lot of content. And I've had people say, why do you give all your stuff away? People are going to do it on their own. Sure, there are some people that read my stuff and go and apply it, and I think that's fantastic. Most people don't have the time, and a lot of people don't have the expertise to do it all the way on their own. And I'm sure that's the same with all of you. So when you create your messaging, it's about the person you're trying to reach, not about you. That's the greatest piece of advice I can give you. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to tell that story. But the more you do it, the more interested people get, because now it's like they're reading about themselves almost, or watching something about themselves. So if your messaging is relevant, that means it's about something in their life that's happening. So do you know what those things are? Do you know the reasons that they would start looking at buying what you do? What are the catalysts? What are the things that happened, the trigger events that happened to cause them to start looking around? Talk about those. Okay? In my case, it's usually, hey, we just spent 40 grand on something and it didn't work. And I'm going to start going on a murderous rampage if I don't fix this in my business. So then they bring me in and we start to look at the business. So something bad happened, and then they bring me in. What has happened for you with your customers that they bring you in? Is it timely? Are you putting your messages out regularly? Or are you saying, nope, we only advertise on May 2nd every year. That's it. No, you advertise all the time. Oh, you people laugh, but it's true. I have some, well, no, we only advertise this time of the year. Okay, do people buy all year? Of course they do. Okay, so you're just forfeiting that work to other people? And interesting, boring doesn't sell a lot. It's okay to be funny if you're funny, right? I'm being serious. Be careful with humor. It is a great tool, but not everyone is funny, even though some people think they're funny. So, but make sure it's interesting. You know what's interesting is when you put other people in your story. You let other people tell their story about how you help them. That's interesting, right? case studies, not the boring ones you read in school, but telling a case study about here's a problem someone had, here's the solution that happened, here's the result of it. People are interested in that. That's cool. You can do it in video form, you can do it in blog, you can have a lot of fun with it. But this is very important, and timely is really important as well. You should have a regular schedule of your work going out, and I'll get into that a bit later. Does anyone have any questions about that so far? Okay. DRIP. So this is a term I learned about 10 years ago. We called it drip marketing. And the whole concept of it is just like a faucet dripping. You're keeping your message constantly just in front of people. Come on in. Okay, we're going to start over because you just arrived. Come on in. There's a couple seats here. I think there's one over there as well. So drip marketing is about creating a schedule that you can manage so you can keep your message continuously in front of your marketplace. There's some components to it. Has anyone here heard of inbound marketing? Yeah, of course you've heard of it. What's inbound?
It's not in your face. It's more subtle. It's more relationship building with your customer. It's
Right,
it's your website. It's all the stuff, all the content you produce.
right.
And I don't have the textbook definition.
No,
but it's,
I don't have one either. Inbound marketing is more pull marketing, pulling people towards you, okay? Outbound marketing is more push marketing. You can see the difference, right? Inbound's usually more digitally based, more web-based, and this is more traditional advertising based. They both still have relevance. Here are some examples. Inbound is social media, content creation, email, your website. SEO stands for search engine optimization. How easy is it for me to find you on Google? Now I know there's other search engines, I don't know what they are, but I use Google. And then of course, even talks like this. This is pull, right? You all stopped what you were doing today and got in your cars and came here to see me. You know how flattered I am about that? That's amazing. That's amazing. Look at the group. This is an expensive room, right? You could be out making money. Said you're listening to some guy from Fort Erie blather around for an hour, right? But talks are a great way to do that. How are you doing that? No, I'm recording this so I can put it on my website later for people that couldn't make it or would want to see it at any time they want. In the comfort of their home in their pajamas on their iPad, right? Hey, look at this guy.
Watching it on their own.
That's right. Outbound is things like TV, outdoor, radio, direct mail, and print. Make sense? Right? That's pushing your message to the market. The other one you're trying to pull people into you.
Why would email be pull? How is that different than, say, direct mail?
I'm referring to email here if you have a list. If people have given you permission, then they're allowing you to send messages. And because of the new legislation, you can't use it as a push tool anymore. It's illegal. So that's why I put it over there. However, you can send one-off emails as a push. But that's more of a sales than a marketing tool. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
Any other questions about it? So here's a sort of an overview of if you're trying to develop a simple marketing plan. Your objective is you want to create awareness in the marketplace because that's a stage of the buying cycle. What's your strategy? I'm going to build awareness via pain points. I'm going to talk about the pain that people have. And I can use traditional advertising to do that. Interest. I want to build credibility through education. Your job is to educate the market about what you do and why you do it. Social media is a great way to do that. Build credibility. I met the Dean of Business from Niagara College about 2 years ago at a luncheon we were at. I didn't know her. She walked up to me and she said, "Hey Larry, it's nice to meet you." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are." She said, "I'm Vivian Kinneard from the college, but I feel like I know you. I've been following you on Twitter for 3 months." I said, "Oh, so you're a stalker." But I built credibility with her simply through what I did on Twitter. She had never met me. But it drove her to my website where she consumed my content and felt that I understood what she was looking for. The evaluation side, provide proof of achieved results. Your website is really the only place where you control everything. It's your little safe place, right? You control the messaging, you control the pictures, you control what's on there about you. Invest in your website. It's smart. It's really smart to invest in your website. Update it quite a bit. If you're looking to create content, I hear this all the time. I don't know what content to create. I don't know what to do. What are the top 10 questions you get asked most about your business? There's 10 blog posts. And you make the title of your blog the question, because that's typically what people search. How do I do this? Zoop, comes your blog, shoots up to... I know it sounds oversimplified, but I've seen it work 100 times. And lastly is the analysis and commitment stage. Provide specific solutions and gain commitment. And that's where we use direct tools, like email, like the phone, like visits, like talks, things like that. Does this seem realistic to you guys? I know I've oversimplified it a bit, but that's a pretty simple way to manage your marketing. Then it can look like this. But this is just a simple spreadsheet that we create for our clients where you put all your tactics down the left-hand side, your costs, and then when you're going to execute things. And you can keep it in a simple document. You can make this look any way you want, but you can create a simple document that manages this so you know when things are going out to the marketplace. So if you wait for the perfect moment will pass you by. So my question to all of you today, and I'd like you to write it down if you're up for it. But what is one thing you could change about how you market your business that you think would have the biggest impact on your success? And when are you going to do that? As you know, Einstein's definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So you're obviously here for a reason. Something is not working. Doesn't mean everything's not working, but something is a little off maybe. So what are you prepared to do differently? What is that one thing about your business or how you market your business that you could change that you think would have the biggest impact on your success? Thank you very much. I hope that was informative. And if anyone has any questions, I'd love to answer them. If you don't, then I'll just walk away in shame and... I'm kidding. But thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.